Well, it is well into lunchtime on the East Coast, and that is a picture of the Dow. CBS News 24/7 continues watching in real time the market reaction as investors react in real time to President Donald Trump's tariff strategy. And you can see just some of the countries there on the screen that are hit with the highest percentage of tariffs. It includes Vietnam, China, Taiwan, South Africa, and also India. You can see the full list here. The major takeaway, a minimum baseline tariff of 10% on all major U.S. trading partners. That goes into effect April 5th. Additionally, countries that currently charge the U.S. more than 10% in tax will be hit with an additional reciprocal tariff. That will start on April 9th. So those tariffs could make the prices of hundreds of things that you buy skyrocket. That ranges from electronics to toys to shoes, computers from Taiwan, clothes from India. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the market as the world reacts to these tariffs. Let's go to Capitol Hill now, where a handful of Senate Republicans have joined forces with Democrats in an effort to stop President Trump's tariffs on Canada. So here's what's happening there. The Senate passed a resolution to revoke the tariffs on Canadian goods. They did that last night. 2 Virginia Democrats sponsored the bill. 4 Republicans voted in favor of it. Those senators are Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, Mitch McConnell, and Rand Paul. Our crews and cameras caught up with lawmakers in the hallway of Capitol Hill for their response to the tariffs. Listen.
Have you seen the stock market this morning?
I've looked at it a couple of times.
Are you concerned?
Yep.
My own constituents voted for this. It's not like Donald Trump is surprising anybody. He has signaled his strong support for tariffs from the beginning. He's exercised it in the past. And with that, he got 66% of the vote in North Dakota. So with this promise, they trusted him. And so, yeah, I'm comfortable with where my constituents are on it. I spent a lot of time talking to them about it. I spend a lot of time talking to Canadians about it, my neighbors and friends and family in Canada. You cannot make a day a trend, or even a week or a month a trend.
So let's go to CBS News Congressional correspondent Nikole Killion live now. Nikole, good to be with you today. So how are lawmakers reacting to the president's tariff announcement? And then relative to this bill, is it going anywhere beyond the Senate?
Yeah, well, obviously there was mixed reaction here on Capitol Hill. You know, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who has been somewhat critical of moving forward with these tariffs, said that he is taking a wait-and-see approach as far as the markets. He said that that was something that was likely expected, so he's kind of waiting to see what happens, although he has expressed some concerns about the impact it could have on his states and others for that matter. You know, I also talked to Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who was at the ceremony at the White House yesterday where the president staunchly defended his actions. You know, I asked him, look, the stock market is down more than 1,000 points. Do you think the president should reverse course? And his response was no. You know, he argued that I come from a state like Missouri, a lot of hardworking people there. And in his view, he believes that this tariff policy will ultimately lead to economic prosperity, that a lot of states like his have been hit hard by factory closures, by job losses, particularly in the manufacturing sector. So while he, did acknowledge the market loss, he said we shouldn't necessarily pay attention to one day or another as far as the markets are concerned, but kind of take that long-term view in that he believes that this will ultimately help the economy.
Well, and to that point of long-term view, as Willie James Inman reported from the White House, the Trump administration knows this takes years to see the full impact of what they're rolling the dice on. Now let's change gears a little bit. We understand a pair of senators just met with a group of recently released Israeli hostages. You had a chance to speak with an impacted family. What a conversation. What did they have to say?
Yeah, that's right. So this was a meeting with Pennsylvania Senator McCormick as well as Nevada Senator Rosen, bipartisan group. And they met with a group of recently released Israeli hostages as well as family members who still have loved ones in captivity. Of course, time and again, we have seen some of these families come here to Capitol Hill, but they wanted to continue to raise the attention of those who remain in detention, continuing to argue for their release and for that ceasefire deal to get back on track. I did speak with one American family who has a son who was taken hostage, although they presume that he has since died in captivity. Take a listen to what they told me about why they believe his remains should be brought back home.
And he was basically the first responder group that rushed to the border. His tank was put on fire, and his teammates and him were taken hostage. For 422 days, we didn't know his condition, but we were told 4 months ago that it was he probably died in captivity. For over 500 days, we've been fighting for his release, and now we're fighting to get his remains back and to give him proper burial.
Our son grew up in New York, in the Jewish community. We're both descendants of Holocaust survivors. He was signed up for college, but decided that he wanted to spend a year in Israel. Military service is mandatory in Israel. We all know why. And he felt that he wanted to do that before he came back for college. And on October 7th, he found himself in that situation there.
So again, they are pushing for their son's remains to be returned, along with others who may have passed away in captivity, along with those who remain alive, some 59 hostages in total. So again, we know in terms of the negotiations that they remain very fragile. There have been a number of proposals recently put on the table, but still no clear progress made as of yet in terms of getting that ceasefire deal back on track in the region. Reed.
It just shows you the wide range of topics that you have to cover there from Capitol Hill. Nikole Killion, thank you so much. Well, we started off talking about congressional reaction to tariffs, and we just want to remind all of our viewers, you can check out our tariff price tracker at cbsnews.com/tariffs.